Let's see. You are standing today in Lacey, the Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator. This building is owned by DWP. This half of the building is operated as co-working space. The other side is lots of classrooms and labs for incubators, lots of clean tech companies here. And I want to shout out in particular a program of theirs right now, Women in Clean Tech. We can send these slides out later. They've got an event next week down in Torrance with one of their startups. They've got a newsletter for folks to get involved in their programs. WQS is also running a couple of events we want to share locally in the next couple of weeks. And Curbivore is one of my favorite local conferences in the transit space. They focus a little more on a broader understanding of the use of the curb and kind of a new understanding. That'll be next month, and anybody who hasn't been before can get a $20 ticket using Donuts20. We'll email that out again to everybody. There's a couple of jobs we'll highlight here. From Caltrans and Getty, there are a lot of folks hiring. If you are looking and need help, feel free to reach out. I can help recommend a few places. And there's a lot of jobs boards for those of you who are looking locally or curious about government. And lastly, I want to introduce Barbara from Santa Barbara. I, many years ago, used to ride the 10 Rapid from downtown out to my job for the city of Santa Monica in the IT department, and with Kagan, who you might have met up front. And we were bus riders, and we wanted real-time data, and we walked over and knocked on the door and asked why we couldn't have it, and got our first lesson in contracts and procurement, where it turned out the company at the time was holding that data hostage. Yeah. And it's been many years, and that is no longer a Santa Monica vendor. And yeah, the city has transformed quite a bit, especially in transportation, and I'm really excited to have Barbara talk about it this morning. So please join me in welcoming Barbara.
Hi, I'm Barbara Andres. I'm the Customer Experience and Innovation Administrator at the City of Santa Monica's Big Blue Bus, which is now actually the Department of Transportation. I manage the innovation pilots and programs that improve our customer experience. I've worked at the city for 15 years, starting in finance, and then for the last 11 years or so, I've been in transportation. Our transportation department now consists of Big Blue Bus, mobility, and parking. Anything to do with transportation is under that department. It used to be spread around the city, but now it's all consolidated so we can work together and develop some better synergies and get everybody in our city moving effectively and sustainably. The project I'm going to be talking about today is a Big Blue Bus project. So who here has ever ridden on Big Blue Bus in Santa Monica? Good. Wow. Yeah. Well, we're pretty well known around here. Big Blue Bus, though we have sort of a young brand, has actually been around for nearly 100 years. Started in 1928. It was one of the first transit agencies in this county. We use blue buses, and then by about 1950, everybody was calling it Big Blue Bus, so that became the official name. With a commitment to environmental sustainability, we've been steadily moving our vehicles into vehicles that produce less and less emissions. We're currently using renewable natural gas on most of our fleet, about 90% of our fleet. However, 10% of our fleet is battery electric, zero emissions buses. We're going to be getting a few more of those in the next few months. 19 more of those are going to hit the streets, and then in another year or two, another 40. And we're on track to be 100% zero emissions by 2031. Oops, sorry. But we're not just here to talk about Big Blue Bus's sustainability commitment. We're actually here to talk a little bit about data, and specifically a program we've been doing for the last couple of years in partnership with the transit app called Rate My Ride. Transit is currently the most well-known and used transit trip planning app in the United States. On an average weekday, 10% of transit users are going to open the transit app here in North America. Remember that number. We're going to come back to it later. We've been offering our customers real-time data for about the last 10 years, since 2015. Initially, it started through interactive voice response and text. Later, we created a trip planning feature on our website, and then we now have an app. You can actually plan your trip through Transit app, Google, Move It, pretty much any app that shows transit. However, Transit is our official app at the City of Santa Monica, and about 50 to 60% of our customers who use the Transit app also buy their fares in the Transit app. And you can see this 5-year trend of Big Blue Bus's most monthly uses of the transit app. So it's been, even with COVID, that little dip you see at the beginning, we actually have doubled since pre-COVID times with users of the transit app. So it's very popular. It's also, as I said, popular around the country. So people visiting here can actually use the transit app to plan their trips without having to download it and buy their passes as well. The transit did some user demographics for us and found out that our riders are nearly half of them are from households that earn less than 50,000. Can you hear me better now? All right, sorry about that. More than half of them don't own a car, and nearly half of them are older than 45, and about 20% are immigrants. These demographics are important if we want to understand our customers, but first we have to find a way to listen to them. So in the summer of 2022, the Federal Transit Administration awarded a grant to us for a little over $350,000 to do a pilot to basically be able to help our customers have a better customer experience using innovative technology. So what the transit app did was developed a custom digital survey to ask customers while they're riding on the bus what their experience is before, during, and after they get on the bus. The survey responses were coupled with real-time analytics that are collected in the app based on location data and other details. We got City Council approval, we did a contract, and we actually kicked off the project in about early 2023. We've been running for about 2 years now, and we're close to wrapping up. We've been very excited to partner with Transit and also the other agency that was on the pilot, which is WMATA, which is Washington, D.C.'s regional transit agency. And having them participate has given us additional deep insights into a different sort of a transit market, but also seeing how they use the app is a little bit different from how we use the app. For example, what they do is they use the data from the transit app and the Rate My Ride feature to be able to focus on their customer base and specific demographics. Like they have routes that are, the majority of the customers are Spanish speaking, and they're able to deal with the specific situations that those Spanish speaking customers have on those routes. Throughout the project, we've worked with Transit to develop customized questions to ask our customers. We asked them about bus stop amenities, cleanliness, and safety, actions we were taking to improve onboard safety, and then also initiatives that we've been doing, such as our automated bus lane enforcement and our transit safety officer program, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. We've collected thousands of survey responses over the past 2 years, and all of them are available to us as data. Transit has also provided not only the raw data, but also dashboards and analytics tools such as Tableau and other analyses tools that we were able to use, as well as custom reports that we've asked them to produce for us. For example, all the Rate My Ride reports come with context data that includes data, the date and time of the trip, route numbers and directions, and anonymized personal data, which is, of course, anonymized as per federal law, vehicle numbers, trip ID, from which we can also drill down and find more details, such as who was driving the bus, what route it was, what was going on during that particular trip. Here's an example of how we can operationalize the survey data that we're getting from the customers. The customer starts the survey and they're asked, how's this bus stop? And in January, over 2,000 customers responded to that. Most of those customers found that trip to that bus stop to be a pretty decent, and a few of them did not. So we drilled down further into finding out what's wrong with that bus stop. We found out that in some cases there was broken glass or graffiti or dirt or other issues, and we were able to focus on that on those 4 bus stops that came up frequently in the data as being problematic, and get those cleaned up. You can see here the before and after of one bus stop that was addressed using the data that we got from our customers. So over the past 2 years, we've met with Transit every month to work on the questions and make them more specific to what we're working on. For example, in April 2024, we started a Transit Safety Officer program where we've been putting pairs of unarmed private security officers on some of our bus routes. They'll ride a route and then jump off and get on another bus, so they basically circulate around the system. And before we did that, we asked our customers, how safe do you feel on the bus? What's the situation? What's making you feel unsafe? And then we were able to use that data as a baseline to find out how well they were perceiving the transit safety officers. And we found that the customers that did see the transit safety officers, the majority of those, 66%, felt safer on the bus. And then after successfully doing that feature, we turned over to another program we're going to be doing. We've actually started the program in its early stages, but we should get it launched with issuing citations to people that are parking in bus lanes. We have that ready to go with the cameras on the buses. We're just working out the final details on being able to issue those citations automatically. So we've been, for the last month or so, asking our customers, what's your travel speed? What's the perception of the travel speed? Do you feel safe getting on and off the bus, or is there a car blocking that bus stop or bus lane? And we're getting a good baseline for the performance, which we're going to be able to figure out how that fits in with how the customer perception fits in with the actual performance of the program. In addition to the Rate My Ride data, we're getting customer insights in other ways. We can ask them for customer reports, as I mentioned earlier, and we got a particular report that was very useful, which was a real-time accuracy analysis. They were able to take a look at our predictions that our customers were getting as far as whether their bus was arriving, and compare those to what the actual arrival time was, and then drill down even deeper by various metrics, such as by route, by time of day, etc. We've also been able to get benchmarking data because Transit does a survey across the U.S. and all the North American agencies that people are using Transit app on, and we can compare our service with other agencies across the country. Going back to that, remember those 10% of users that use Transit at all are opening the Transit app every day. Transit is able to collect a lot of data, and it's very useful not only for us, but for other agencies. And then we can also request other raw data or details or reports from Transit whenever we need it. Here's an example of what one of the visuals that we got from the Transit app on our bus perceptions of bus arrival time. You can see that it's actually very interesting to me, possibly also to data folks, that in a lot of cases, when the bus is about 10 or more minutes out, the predictions are accurate. The bus is actually 10 or more minutes out. Where the issue was, especially at Big Blue Bus, was in that last minute. We were either getting the bus not arriving, or we were getting what they call a sort of a jittery report, where you've probably seen it on an Uber drive, where the car is like 10 minutes away, and then suddenly it's 15 minutes away, and then it's 18 minutes away. We were getting this similar sort of effect on some of our bus arrival data. And with that data, we were able to drill down and go back to the prediction engine, which is done by a company called Swiftly. They actually do a really good job of accurate predictions. However, their predictions are only as accurate as our bus location data, and we've just installed a new system for that, which is getting us more accurate data. However, then we had a problem. We could narrow the problem down to a latency where the Swiftly algorithm was only picking up the location data every 60 seconds, which would have been much more accurate if it was picking it up every 15 to 20 to 30 seconds. And we were actually able to go into our CAD-EVL, our automated location system, and adjust that pickup rate and fix the latency. We haven't done the follow-up report yet, but we are hopeful that our prediction data is going to be better, because this report that Transit put together for us found that really 82% of the customers were seeing their buses arrive on time as predicted, and that's not really great. It's comparable to a lot of other agencies, but we really want to be better at Big Blue Bus. And with that, does anybody have any questions? Yes. Not really.